welcome back here. You are listening to RGBTitanRadio.com, and don't forget that if you or somebody you know happens to have Original Value music, all you have to do is email us, playmymusic@RGBTitanRadio.com. That way we can take your music and throw it into rotation and get you the exposure that you deserve. And just like our guest here in the studio today, Dave, taking local farmers. And now when you say farmers, does that particularly mean, somebody like on a ranch, or, do you have, everyday backyard farmers?
Well, yeah. A couple of our farmers are just people who have a small plot in their backyard, a very small plot, and they just tend it a few hours a day, a couple hours a day, and they come to the market and they sell what they produce. But most of our farmers have very small plots. One of our biggest producers, they're probably bringing anywhere between, they're probably selling up close to 1,000 pounds of vegetables a week at the 3 farmers markets. They have their own little one near Bayview, and then they do the Padre Island Farmers Market, and they do our farmers market in Brownsville. They're called Acacia Farms. They have probably about, I don't know, it's like 2 backyards.
Right.
It's pumping out that much vegetables.
That's pretty interesting.
It's crazy.
Now, I know recently I was reading the news and I saw that there was a couple laws on, or getting ready to be passed about regulating, the backyard farmer. I mean, how does that affect what you do over the Brownsville Farmer Market, or does that haven't had a ripple effect yet?
It hasn't yet, but that legislation didn't just drop out of thin air. That's actually big agriculture interests who are taking our legislators out to eat, or even worse, outright bribing or whatever. But
Right.
they're getting their way with our legislators, and it's terrible because allowing easier access to fresh food is so important, because we have a very sick society.
We do.
And I think a lot of it is because of the huge amount of chemicals that we eat every day, thinking we're being healthy by eating vegetables. Hey, let's go to the grocery store and get some tomatoes, and let's get some bell peppers, and we'll have a fresh salad, and okay, and then you're going to get your pesticides too, okay?
Right.
So it's terrible. I mean, but that's actually a reaction to the success of farmers markets across the country. It's kind of one of these underground things that Barack Obama pulled off.
Right.
He opened up some funding for farmers markets, and they've taken off. I mean, people want it.
Yeah, big time.
And so, let your voice be heard. Support your legislator who supports local farming.
Do you have local politicians around here who believe in what you guys are doing?
We have some at the local level. I really don't know of any at the national or even state level that are real supporters.
Right.
But at the local level in Brownsville, we have a couple. We have Melissa Zamora, she's a city commissioner, and Rose Gowan, she's a city commissioner. And they get that connection. They understand the importance of fresh food and pesticide-free food. And then, if you're a Republican, local production of goods.
Yeah.
Because it really is creating jobs at the local level. I mean, you see it at our market week to week. We've been growing so fast. Right now we're getting about between 800 and 900 people a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really taken off. And so, that's compared to last year where we probably had about 200.
Right.
But, I've been the market manager for a few months, so they had everything in place. I really saw that it was perfect. They just needed to put the jigsaw pieces together.
Right.
And so I've helped them do that. But it's taken off so fast and so huge. You can see the changes week to week at the market, like more production from the small farmers, more small farmers wanting to get in on the action, because it's a place where they can make money.
So, let's say I get up on Saturday morning and want to go out to the Brownsville Farmer Market. Could you describe for our listeners out there, what are we going to see when we're out there, and describe the smells that are out there?
Well, it's Brownsville, so hopefully you won't smell any of those big trash bins in Mexico burning.
Man, that's horrible.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful place. It's Linear Park. It's right in front of the federal courthouse and right next to the Museum of Fine Art and across the street from the zoo. And so it's this really beautiful place. We actually set up on a jogging trail.
Wow.
It's called Linear Park, and so we use the jogging trail is basically for the pedestrian traffic.
Right.
And then Parks and Recreation, they just throw up some tents. And so farmers set up underneath the tents. But it's this incredible festive atmosphere that it's almost like, it reminds me kind of like of a revival.
Right.
It's just festive and outdoors and
right.
fun. And so it's really cool. And, you'll be outside. Now the interesting thing is that since we're outdoors, sometimes it does rain and sometimes it gets cold, but even in those days, like one day it was like cold and raining, we still set up because you can't stop the vegetables from growing. So we still set up, and we had about 300 people show up.
Wow, that's so great. I mean,
it was pretty amazing. So I thought we were like nobody was going to come, but people who notice the difference in the quality of the food, you're not going to want to shop at the grocery store.
Right.
You're just going to want that food. I'm to that point now, like, I hate to go to the grocery store. I just hate to go.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. You know, like you said, everything's faceless now. I mean, you don't know where anything comes from. It just says sweet potato, but you don't know what ground they pulled that potato out of. So.
Oh yeah, and so to me, it gives you so much confidence to be able to talk to a small farmer, especially when they're doing it for political reasons,
right.
And be able to talk to them and ask them details about the production of their food.
Right.
But most of them are real savvy. I mean, you can really get in. I mean, they'll definitely educate you on food production issues politically, and also just culinary aspects, taste and flavor, and it's a big education.
So can you drop a recipe on us? You know, you guys doing organic food? Is there a specific recipe that you want to pass along to everybody?
We're doing some cool things. In fact, we have this nonprofit organization called the Rio Bravo Wildlife Institute in Brownsville. They have been doing these veggie sushi demonstrations and using about 99% of market food, and then the only thing that they're not using that's from the market is like the nori wrap, that seaweed wrap. So they do these veggie sushi things, and instead of rice, they put carrot in a food processor. You can use anything, daikon in a food processor or whatever.
Right.
But instead of rice, you just food process some vegetables, in a fine chop, and then you use that for the rice, and then you can fill it with. We've been doing like mango, onion. We sell a cheese there at the market that's produced in Mission.
Wow.
It's not organic, but it's locally produced.
Right, right.
So you can put some cheese in there and radishes. I mean, if you roast a radish, it'll take on the texture a lot like tuna.
Wow.
So if you kind of do like one of those things, hey, we're going to sub this and this out to make a sushi roll.
Right.
You could roast some radish or some golden beets and use that on top. And then, of course, you can do like a jalapeno, soy, thing.
Man, you're making me hungry just hearing all that. So.
Man, it's delicious. I was freaked out because, I didn't think that veggie sushi, because for me, sushi is about the fish.
Right.
Screw the rice. I mean,
let's just eat the raw fish, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, but man, it really comes out great. So that's just one thing, but there's a million things, and we also sell a prepared pesto there from Bayview Veggies, and Bayview Veggies is cool. Jack Moffitt and Rhonda Resio, they're just like, they're just like these older, really hip people who realized that society was basically BS.
Right.
But they amassed their wealth. Like they've got their nest egg or whatever, but they are really rocking and rolling in like local food production.
That's great.
So they're teaming up with like restaurants and stuff, and providing them with local pesticide-free food to use in their recipes. And one thing they've produced with that type of approach is an arugula pesto with this restaurant called Cafe Shiraz. And this pesto, because I make my own pesto out of whatever, some olive oil. I like to throw in some sardines.
Right.
Some, basil or whatever, But their arugula pesto that they make at Cafe Shiraz just makes me think like I have never really been eating pesto. It's so good. And so, we've got that there. The arugula pesto is a very simple recipe, and they'll share that recipe with you. But, it's a couple of things. We also have hormone-free beef and lamb and chicken and farm-fresh eggs. So, what I've been doing lately is, when I really want to eat, I'll just get like a half pound of that hormone-free, locally grown beef, and just make a couple of little cheeseburgers, man. Yeah. It's just like, whoa.
Local cheese, local beef, and
you've never tasted a cheeseburger until you've had real good beef. you know.
I hear you, man. So where can people find you? Find you on Facebook?
Yeah, we're on Facebook. That's a real fun way to connect with us. We also have a blog. It's called Fresh Tex Mex, and you can find it at www.freshtex-mex.blogspot.com.
Okay.
That's freshtex-mex.blogspot.com. And that's another fun way to keep up with us, because we'll post writing from people from throughout the Rio Grande Valley who have some connection to fresh food. So it might be like a Tex-Mex restaurant that has some awesome fresh offering, or
Right.
Just a writer who wrote a story about some farmers, or we've got a post up recently about a kids cook-off, and you may want to check that out too. It's Kids Cook-Off is with the Rio Bravo Wildlife Institute. So you look up the Rio Bravo Wildlife Institute at rbwi.org and find out details about the cook-off.
Awesome.
So yeah, Fresh Tex Mex is another fun way. And then we're online. We've got a website, which I don't think anyone uses anymore.
The website's just kind of the afterthought after.
Yeah, well, 5 years ago it was big.
Well, thanks for joining us here, and I think we're gonna have to go have some of that organic food right now. So
Please do look for the Gladys Porter Zoo exit, and we're 9 a.m. to noon, 9 a.m. to noon every Saturday, and just come down that Gladys Porter Zoo exit, and when you get to the corner where you would ordinarily turn to go to the zoo, we share that corner with the Gladys Porter Zoo, so we're on the other side.
Sounds great, man. And thanks for listening. And for those of you out there, we'll get every link posted up, so that way you can find the Brownsville Farmers Market. And of course, we want to thank Dave for stopping in here. And don't forget, like I said before, if you or somebody you know happens to have Original Valley Music, all you have to do is email us, playmymusic@rgbtitanradio.com, because this is the Valley's home of Original Valley Music. We'll go ahead and get back to the local music. And once again, Dave, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you guys so much, man. I love what you do. I'm a big fan of local music. Had my own punk rock band for a few years.
Oh, now we got to get the recordings of that.
I'll bring them in, man.
Awesome, we'll play it.
Awesome.